Speaking of which,
Hold on.
I'm gonna
1 second.
I'm gonna bring
There you go.
Rags to Game Talk Court.
Game Talk Court. We
Yeah,
have a court?
we're creating shit now. We're creating we're creating copying. So
We're creating copying.
yes,
What are we copying?
Huh?
the court part, because Weapon Will Court, this is Game Talk Court now. This is
they didn't actually come up with the idea.
This is totally better.
This is totally better.
Yes, I mean, because it's Game Talk. Let me get to the actual channel so that way I can see the chat.
Court's in session. All
right. Yes, you guys. Fringy is here. You do hear him. He is there. He's speaking to us through the powers of the internet, aka his phone, aka his shitty internet from down under. But hey, it's okay.
Hey, at least he has internet. It could be worse where he has none.
Hey, as long as a whale doesn't sit on the lines in the ocean, he should be fine.
All right, before we get into like the actual good discussions, I want to actually speak to Rags here.
Okay.
Because a lot of times, like throughout your channel and kind of like what you promote is consumerism. You really like the value of the consumer. And you're kind of like against the consoles because they kind of are not pro-consumer by any means or stretch of the imagination whatsoever. I will agree with you there. But you just bought a MacBook, and Apple is like the most anti-consumer company there possibly is.
I bought it used.
It's still using.
So Mac makes no money off of that sale.
Mac makes no money, but I mean, so you would have no problem with like people buying a used console and buying just nothing but used games, as long as
Actually, that would make sense though, wouldn't it? Like if people just like in a way, if you think about it, when you buy used product, and if you have an issue or an axe to grind with the consoles, what better way to bury that fucking axe, right? Make sure you advocate that everybody buys used to make sure that Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo aren't making money off of you and make them fucking literally bury themselves into the ground. Yeah,
I literally have never bought a single used electronic.
Plus, I'm not paying $1,500 for a new laptop.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, I don't blame you either there, because I did that once. And
yeah, that's a little. Yeah, I know if it was new for a reasonable price. Well, and
there's no such thing as reasonable price with them.
Yeah, really. If you go to their website and you start upgrading it, you can. We're talking like new car costs for.
Yeah, it's fucking insane.
It really is insane. But since I have a desktop as my primary, I've been using a MacBook laptop that I was gifted with years and years and years ago for internet browsing and social media stuff like that. And I mostly keep that upstairs by the bed. And
okay, so would you equate this to like a PC user still having a PS4 for the exclusives?
Yeah, I mean, I have a PS4.
Yeah, but you don't use it. I mean, that's come on. We already know this.
I'm kind of in the same boat, though. I mean, I'm not gonna lie.
If you want, sure.
I'm in the same boat.
Really, if you're gonna have, if you have to get one system, get a PC. If you're gonna get two, you might as well get a PC and a, well, I'd say PC and a 3DS. But if you want to get a PC and a PS4, I mean, that's up to you.
Well, it seems like that you would like handheld is like with me. Like handheld has like really never been a thing. Like I played back in the original Game Boy, like back whenever you had to like sit there and wait for the street lights to come on, so that way you could, as you're driving down the road, so you could see the screen.
Yeah. I remember
that was like
days.
that was like the only one I actually ever had, and after that I just kind of like fell out of like the whole handheld thing. So whenever I tried the 3DS, my God, was I confused, because I mean, like I said, I went from that one to the 3DS, and it's got two screens. One of them can touch, and the other one, like, you had to pay attention to both screens while you're playing. I was like, fuck this game, man. There's like, y'all made handheld too fucking confusing.
Really?
Well,
confusing for you.
Obviously, it probably wasn't if I just tried it, but I mean, like I said, I went from the one where you could only see like whenever the lights just happened to shine on it correctly, to
you could
the 3DS.
Stick in your little dongle light.
I never got one of those. I think I had those things ended up coming out like right whenever I quit playing so much on the handheld portion.
No,
Uh,
I never got one for the Game Boy Advance, which was the first handheld that I got. And then the SP came out, and that was a flip phone one with the backlight to it, and that was pretty revolutionary. It's like, I can see, I can see. They made extra versions of the SP in different colors, and I think one had a brighter backlight. And then I believe that was when they jumped to the 3DS. And I got one of those, and it was fantastic, and I loved it. And I have a 3DS XL upstairs.
my kids love the 3DS. I don't know.
Pretty good.
I
A lot
think
of good
it's
games.
you're like in like early 20s, right?
Mid-20s.
Mid 20s. See, I'm thinking that like the age is when maybe what. Not that I'm saying that people my age don't enjoy the 3DS. I'm thinking maybe that's where like my disconnect was because I went so long without playing any sort of handheld to being an older man or whatever and trying to play handheld. It was just like or that the 3DS was which was a little bit much. It's not like it's impossible to figure out. It just when you haven't played a handheld in forever, and then you go to like try to control two screens with a touch screen, and it just wasn't my thing.
Yeah.
But I noticed like a lot of the younger adults, that because they kind of like went from like the DS or even the later Game Boys or whatever Game Boy Colors and stuff to like kind of on through, so they kind of like have more of like a familiarity with the Nintendo handhelds.
Hmm.
Well, I remember there were a number of games that would incorporate the folding function into the games itself, and one that I remember that I played was the Phantom Hourglass, where there was a puzzle where you had to press an icon onto your map, and like the top screen or something was your map, but you folded the DS shut so that the screens touched basically, and then opened it back up, and the image at the bottom was imprinted on your map on the top or something like that. And I mean, it was so out of the box. It took me ages to figure out what to do, and then I did it, and I was like, "Oh, fucking shit, that's so interesting." But that was, I mean, there's a lot of good games. There's a lot of good games for the 3DS.
Oh yeah,
There's
like that
3DS in general.
library is just gigantic.
Mhm.
I was always wondering why they never brought any of those games to the Wii U to like try to fill in some of the gaps that they had, because that would have been a lot of those games would have like ported over like pretty good. I would have thought like and played pretty well on the big screen.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh man.
But
So
we lost Fringy, I think.
yeah, Fringy. Well,
Yeah, he said he's having internet issues, so he'll be back when he can be back.
Okay,
Yep.
I
pretty
imagine
much.
he wants to come in. Y'all want to talk about the debate part?
Oh yeah, I wouldn't doubt that. Let's see. So there's I got two stories here. And I figure I'll talk about this one because it seems like it'll be more beneficial to anybody that's a PC gamer, and I think you guys will enjoy this one actually.
Okay.
All right. So this is from PC Gamer. Obviously, this was published 12 hours ago by Wes Finian on PC Gamer. And it's Microsoft explains how Windows 10 Game Mode will improve performance in UWP and Windows 32 games. He says Microsoft wants Windows 10 to be the best gaming operating system ever, and Game Mode, a new feature available to Windows Insider for the first time. The next build is a step forward for that goal. It says, thankfully, it's a step forward for all games, not just those sold to the Windows Store. So that's actually a really good thing. Because they're claiming that this is going to work for all Steam games and GOG. I think that this will actually be somewhat good. I think this. I mean, if Windows can actually honor this and push forward with this, we can actually get a really good performance boost. And well, I don't know. I mean, it could be a good thing. I know you're laughing. I know you're kind of like you're very much anti Microsoft, but this.
No, I'm anti Windows 10 gaming. Like they don't even honor their own DirectX. Like DirectX explicitly says you can have dual GPU support, and Windows 10 doesn't even no game on there allows for dual GPU support.
Well, it looks like they're gonna be trying to fix that on this update. So, yeah, it says.
I mean, I hope so. I'd love to see them actually balance whatever problems they have out, so that way they could actually become a competitor.
I don't know if these numbers are accurate. This is kind of this is interesting. It says you're looking at as high as a GPU boost of 90% for like applications and whatnot.
Wow,
That
be interesting.
That would be cool if that's real. I mean, if that's real, that'd be awesome. Like, can you imagine that? That'd be really good. Welcome
That
back,
would be-
Fringy.
Yeah. We'll go ahead and let
thanks.
them talk, so
Really
that way
struggling
they.
with my phone right now.
Yeah, you want to go ahead and say what you want to say, man? I know your internet's kind of really like blargety right now.
Oh, sorry, I missed the entire topic.
Oh no,
no.
no! This was just a news story of Microsoft launching the Windows 10 game mode update, where they're trying to optimize the GPUs to run better, and they're actually trying to optimize all games, not just the UDP, but also anything that's on Steam or GOG or anything that you may have on your system. So.
Right. Well, given their current track record on PC, I'm not usually very trustworthy of Microsoft when it comes to anything they do.
Fair enough. Yeah,
See?
fair enough.
He
Yeah.
has the same thought.
Yeah.
They do not have a track record that speaks for itself, or like in a good light.
Exactly. Out of the gate, they pretty much entirely botched their whole push for this Windows 10 gaming as a gaming platform, with like Quantum Break flat out not working properly on PC at all. And the fact that like the service itself just seems to be really badly designed in terms of even like buying games or setting things up.
Yeah.
It seems like they've tied it too much to the Xbox platform.
Yeah, which is, I mean, that's a bad idea, because
Yeah.
a lot of PC gamers don't like Xbox.
Right, and that's what they're not separating their two markets, and they want to make one market, but there's a way they can do it, but still keep them separate. But they just seem to have just mirrored them way too much.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that because they want to have this whole thing of like, oh, you know, Windows 10, Xbox, and now smartphones that nobody buys, they're all connected, but it's not necessarily a good idea to have everything connected. Unless you're going to put all your games on Steam, then I'm pretty sure a lot more people would be willing to buy into it. I mean, it was the same issue with Origin, except Origin got a lot better eventually.
Yeah, and with Microsoft's like previous attempt at gaming on the PC, and their really bad negativity there, then coming out this way, they've got a huge hill to climb to get back into the good graces of PC gamers.
Well, and they've been kind of in and out. They've been sort of oh, let's see. I'll drag them back up here. There we go. And that's kind of the thing with this, though, isn't it? Like with EA and their origins. They had to go pretty much all the way back to the very beginning of their disclosure agreements and their user agreements, and change a bunch of stuff in order to even be accepted back into the PC market's good eyes. You know what I mean? Microsoft is like, oh yeah, we'll promise this, not deliver. Promise this, we'll deliver like half-assed. And then they'll be like, okay, here's Windows 10. They'll impress people with it, and then they'll release something that breaks it. And it's like, Jesus Christ. I mean, come on, guys. Like, keep your heads together for once.
They like, it's almost like they didn't even like read up on all the like failures that they did with the gaming with Windows Live, or Windows Live gaming, whatever that was called.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't read up on all the failures that they did, and before they launched Windows 10 gaming, and it seems like that like they just didn't talk to the other in this, and they thought they would, as long as it wasn't, I guess they thought the only problem with gaming for Windows Live was the pay option.
Oh, it had many problems.
Yeah, and but it seems like that's all they thought that the problem was, because they launched Windows 10 a lot with some of the similar problems and more. But the only thing that was really effectively missing was the payment option. And I think they were banking on the fact, well, hey, we're not going to charge you this time, so come on over. But man, that you're a software company. I mean, like your software should work day one. And that Quantum Break was like just terrible.
And it's really like it, at least back then, that you could make the argument of, well, I mean, it's a little bit more forgivable because there are less examples of better services. But
right,
there are so many good services now that there's not really any excuse to launch such a bad service, especially when you have those kind of resources.
Yeah, because they could have definitely looked off of Steam, because they kept talking a lot of Steam, like they really enjoyed the Steam and what they're doing, but I was wondering, like, how come you didn't even pay attention to what Steam was actually doing? It just seemed like you just like, yeah, Steam's a good name, but you never even actually looked into how they were working their service, because it launched completely opposite of what Steam was.
Yeah.
And it just kind of like it put me back to where, I mean, I've bought some games from there, but like every game besides Forza Horizon 3 and Gears of War 4 has actually been broken.
Yeah, I've yet to buy anything, and it's not for a lack of games that I've wanted to buy. Because I think Halo Wars 2 is coming out in a few weeks, and I want to buy that. But again, I've got to get it on this service, and over here they don't adjust the prices properly, so literally yeah.
I think he's trying to talk, and I'm just not hearing.
Yeah. And I enjoy having him on here. I hope he can hope the internet can work out for him.
What time is it in Australia right now?
Oh, good lord!
Pretty.
You're gonna get me lying, but I imagine it's pretty late.
It's AMs now, isn't it?
Yeah. Let's see.
About 4 or 5 a.m. maybe 6.
12:21 a.m. to Australia.
They're like a day ahead, I think.
Wow, they're even. Sorry, but it's 5:21 p.m.
Oh shit! Really?
Yeah, like they're.
Yeah, so they are like a day ahead. Okay.
Yeah, he's like eating dinner. We haven't even gone to bed. I wonder. I need to get him back on here so that way I can ask him how my day is gonna go. Anything gonna happen bad, or he can tell the future. I used to always think that, like, those people that were an hour ahead, they can tell. I was young and dumb, you know. I was like,
jackpot number, son.
It was like, yeah, I was thinking, I was like, that's like the key thing, man. I always wondered how come like people on the East Coast or like they seem to win the lottery a lot. So I just need to get some numbers from them.
Yeah.
There's going to be a Apocalypse Now horror game.
An Apocalypse Now.
Apocalypse Now, yeah. There's a Kickstarter for it.
Really?
Yeah.
Apocalypse Now. I'm trying.
Once I get paid, I'm gonna like kick into the Kickstarter. Here, let me pull the Kickstarter up for you, and then I'll put it in the link so you can take a look at it.
Okay.
But it's could be interesting. I'm hoping it is.
It looks interesting.
I'm still waiting on the games that we were talking about in the beginning. Like we were talking about those horror games from like back then, and it's like I haven't heard anything from those guys since. It's like, man, get my hopes up. Jesus.
We have Resident Evil 7 speedrunners have already beat the game in under 2 hours.
Ouch.
Well, I mean, do y'all ever pay attention to like the speedrunners as far as like
I don't pay attention to them, but
as far as like that being like a
pretty new
detriment.
Game. It's a pretty new game. You know what I mean? It is a pretty new game, and they've already got it down to like a 2-hour period. So it's like, damn.
From what I understand from it, though, like that's because I've never played a Resident Evil game, but from what I understand from like reading people and hearing like what people are saying, is that like you can choose whether or not to actually engage in a lot of the enemies. Mm-hmm. And then the big boss ones, of course, you have to fight or whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, if that's the case, I mean, then if you're just running straight to the boss, I mean, I don't know. I really don't know how they all operate. So you might have to like fill me in because I've never played one of these Resident Evil games.
Really? You've never played a Resident Evil game?
No, like I said, back in my PS3 days, almost the whole entire PS3 generation, I was working 17-hour days, 7 days a week. Like I literally barely even saw my family for years. I I'd come home, and if I wanted to game, like I only gamed like a very short little bit because like I had to be very picky and choosy.
Mhm.
I had to pick and choose. So I'd pick like the ones that I knew that I played before, like the Uncharted's or Infamous, like the ones that I knew that I actually enjoyed the previous one.
Yeah.
So that way I didn't like spend hours like because I tried Skyrim and like it takes like 2 hours to get into it to really to actually get some good things going.
Yeah.
And so it was like, man, I'm bored. So that I felt like I wasted my money. So that like it made me like really narrow minded when it came to gaming. Because I didn't have much time. I didn't have much time to do it. I didn't want to spend what little time I had. Because if like playing an hour of Skyrim or a game like that doesn't give you really much to. I mean, nothing's really going to happen. And then the next day you might get an hour, and again nothing happened, and you're like, shit. Like, what's the point in playing this fucking game? And it probably would have taken me 10 years to beat the damn game.
Right.
Whereas, so that way, that's the reason why I was like real narrow minded as far as like picking the games that I knew I liked or liked the previous ones. So that way, it was kind of almost a kind of a guarantee, like that it was going to jump in with action. Bam, I would move on to the next one, and then right towards like the very end of the PS3 generation is whenever like my illness hit, and then so I was like off work a lot at that point. And that's whenever I started being able to actually get into other things and being able to see. But I never went back and picked up Resident Evil. But I did now pick up like 4, 5, 6, and Revelations 2 on PS4. So I plan on going back and playing those.
Mm-hmm.
I hear 6 is like the game of the year type thing. One to, like what transcended gaming as we know it.
Resident Evil 6?
Yeah, I'm kidding. I was kidding.
I
I've heard nothing besides shit about that game.
Some people in this call are about to get all triggered up in here, man.
They're like, 6? What the fuck did you just say? But no, I plan on going back and playing those and then playing 7, but I just never played them back whenever they came out.
Yeah.
I played Resident Evil 4 like 2 days ago. I still play it.
I've heard 4 is like one of the best.
I don't know.
I've not played it though.
I was obsessed with the first 2 games. Those were my favorites from back in the day. Played those on PlayStation 1. I played 2 on the N64, and I love those games. I love the first ones, and then like this thing now that is 6 and the ones that were spin-offs, and I'm just like I haven't kept up with Resident Evil since all this happened, so I'm just
everybody's saying those 7 went back to the 4 days. Like,
oh really?
That's what they're saying. They focused more on.
Yeah, I've heard it's really good.
They focused less on the action portion of it.
It looked good. I saw some of the actual video, and it looked really good. Like they actually put some time into this game. It looked like
it seems radically different from every game that's come before, though.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of its play style and its tone. That's what I noticed. It's because it seems like even though there's a big difference between 6 and 2. You can still get the impression that they're in the same universe.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure whether or not that's I've heard that it's a direct sequel to 6, but it seems like it's very different tonally from the other games.
Interesting.
Speaking of tonally, someone just tweeted me that the Project Scorpio website has removed its mention of VR.
No, okay, wait. It did remove it earlier, but then GameSpot, I guess, called Microsoft or got in touch with whoever they know over there, and they did an article earlier today that I linked to somebody. I forgot who it was, but they said that they are still focused on bringing quality VR or whatever, and they high quality VR, but they don't know why that was removed. Again, that's just what the article said, but I don't know. That's kind of weird. Like if it's you don't know why. Like, why would that be removed?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because if it was removed, someone chose to remove it.
Yeah, and then they chose a very specific portion of it, and then that was like right after these specs were released. That basically is going to be the Xbox One Pro, not this gaming beast that everybody's been.
Some people are going to be on suicide watch.
Oh, you're not lying.
Oh man,
Seriously though, I mean.
You're right, though. No, you're right.
Trying to hype it up as though it's going to be just this super powerful console, not realizing that this is a thing that they still need to sell to the average consumer, which means it can't be too expensive.
Yeah.
Have you heard of this? There's a new HDMI coming out later. It should be later this year. It was announced at CES, called HDMI 2.1, and it can carry the bandwidth to do 8K, like movies and video, and 10K. It has enough bandwidth to do 10K movies.
Nice.
And obviously we're not even near there yet, but it's at least it's actually going to be there.
Let's watch movies that look better than real life. Let's do it.
Yeah,
come on.
Pretty much.
But Tim Dog actually already had this PEG 2.1 is going to be in there. Like we're not even like we're gonna be getting 8K games, and now all of a sudden,
oh hell yeah!
Now all of a sudden, like come out, it's like basically the exact same thing. Like I've been saying, is the PS4 just a higher GPU, a little bit more RAM, and yeah, I mean you might get a little bit better frame rates out of the 4K games you have, but
I doubt it in terms of the frame rate, because as we know, these guys prioritize visuals over performance every time.
Yep.
I've talked about this with a few people. They don't seem to realize that 4K is basically what 1080p was like 10 years ago. It's not like this is the last time there's going to be another another higher resolution. They're just going to keep going up.
Yeah.
And if 4K is not even a standard now, why would you expect them to put 8K into a consumer level console?
Well, look at how long these companies like TV manufacturers and stuff, like a lot of people don't know this, but a lot of people, well, then again, they don't look into things like this. A lot of these companies, for the longest time, they were stretching the 1080p market out as thinly as possible. I mean, look at the very beginning of it, dude. They're saying that these TVs were capable of 1080p, full HD, and then you turn your TV on, you plug in your cable box, and you're like, oh, 720p. But of course, I never said that until you figured out later that you just got ripped off by the company.
They're still hyping 4K like right now, but I mean, if most of the
Fringy's volume,
almost everybody here in every station here in America is still doing 720p. They haven't even moved to actually 1080p yet. So like,
yeah.
How do these people feel like that they're actually going to jump from 720 to 4K? I mean, like they still haven't even adopted 1080.
We know they hear Daddy Microsoft talking about it, and they just run with it.
Pretty much.
This has been a big thing with these guys for years. Microsoft says it will happen, and then they just assume that it will. And then 2 or 3 years later, when it doesn't happen, they just conveniently ignore that they said it. I remember when cloud was supposed to be a big deal, but I can't think of a single game that runs on Microsoft's cloud.
There's not one.
It's really funny. It's really funny because I remember like busting that point out the window a long time ago. In fact, I think it was with you, Rambo. It was like a year and a half, almost 2, where people were saying the power of the cloud was going to be this amazing thing, and it was I was like, dude, those are business servers. Those are actually servers meant for corporate offices.
Yeah,
those are not gaming servers.
They have them there, and I'm sure they could use them for gaming.
But they won't. They won't prioritize gaming over corporate investments. Hell no.
And that's just like I've had people tell me that augmented reality, that new headset.
God.
That's going to be going to kill the PlayStation VR, and I'm like, you realize that that's not being built for the Xbox. It's not at all. Like it might have a couple of like fun little arcade games that they have, like where people can have some fun with it. But it's not having like AAA blockbuster titles built for it because it's more for
the HoloLens.
Yeah, that's for a business practice.
That's definitely business and like architecture, engineering. That is not going to be a consumer level product if that's the kind of tech that's like that. That's well a few years ahead, probably like 5 or 10 years ahead of us.
Yeah, and it's
a thing at home.
I mean, like I said, it might have like a couple, like how like your PC has a couple of fun little games you can play while you're sitting there kind of bored, and I'm sure that that's going to have a couple of things that you can, play on it or whatever. But it's not going to have like a Halo augmented reality. You're not getting any of those type of games on there. But these people have had it like they're already touting it to be the they're gonna pick it up because it's gonna be the PSVR killer, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me! Like, how do y'all not see that this is like way beyond a gaming headset?
Who wants to play augmented reality Halo anyway? You got like the Covenant in your lounge room.
It's if you go,
I've never.
There's a few big YouTubers that actually got their hands on the HoloLens. Have you guys seen those yet? Like,
no, I haven't. I've seen the
shit.
The one
shit
where
is so buggy, dude. Like, they are so buggy, and you could tell it. Like, the moment they put it on, like, this thing was not meant for gaming. Like, they try to say that this was meant for gaming and this was launched with gamers in mind. I'm like, no. No fucking way. I saw the apps this guy was using. He was like, yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna try the whole Minecraft thing. It was inaccurate. He moved his hand and stuff, and it like went into options instead of actually messing with the game. It was like, you could tell this was meant for business stuff. This was not meant for gaming. No way.
The only reason they say it's for gaming is because they don't want to alienate people. I mean, I wish more companies, when they're selling a product, would say, yeah, this isn't for everybody. Like, we're making
it would. There's nothing wrong with them making a product for different divisions of their business. Like, there's no reason to have to be forced to include it to everything.
Unfortunately, this sort of mindset has invaded gaming, like, design, where it's, we want to make a game that everybody can enjoy, so you're making a shit game, because any good game is one that some people won't enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that's exactly what happens.
So, do we want to do this, Rambo? Do we want to address the elephant in the room?
What's the...
Fringy, did you want to talk about the elephant in the room?
Oh no, I figured that. I figured that that's what.
And I'm not talking about the one that's currently sitting on your internet connection out in the ocean. You know that whole Alienware alpha thing, dude.
Like, that's what I figured. That's what I figured.
Fringy, I'm gonna admit this.
I got the impression.
I'm gonna admit this right now, bro. Like, I did not watch that whole fucking charade. I already knew where it was. I couldn't.
I haven't even started.
I knew where that was actually headed before you ever went into that debate, because he was just debating you on technicalities rather than.
I knew
like,
from the start that it was going to be about definitions and
reality.
stuff.
Like, and I knew like what
definition.
So I knew your standpoint. I knew your standpoint on it, because like most everybody kind of just recognizes that as a like a form factor PC. But like since Alienware did label console on one of their publications, then he could technically be correct. And at that point, there's like there's no really arguing that, because anytime that Grimpachi wants to get into a debate with somebody, he's done his homework, and he knows definitely.
He didn't really do his
homework.
Well,
I mean, as far as like his standpoints, that
the
type
issue
of
wasn't
thing.
that he did his homework; it was that he just wasn't going to budge. He came into it. Yeah, it's a console, but it's really not. When you actually think about it, I mean, everybody immediately says it's a PC, and that's for a reason, because it fits the criteria, as he likes to talk about throughout the debate about criteria. It perfectly fits the criteria of a personal computer. It's something it's an electronic appliance that you can use for like word processing, spreadsheets, and stuff like that. It runs Windows. It's not in a closed ecosystem, and it doesn't have games that are designed to run on it. Like a PS4 game only runs on a PS4. The Alienware Alpha plays PC games.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Oh, I mean,
point even debating it.
Well, I mean, I agree with you the fact that it's a PC.
I would have.
I
don't know if
I just knew where he was going to come from.
I don't know. I don't know. I didn't, like I said, I didn't really watch all of it, but I don't know if you use this or not. But I would have stated by industry standards, is that considered a console? By industry standards,
that's what I tried to do.
Yeah,
I tried to do that, but because what I tried to explain was, all right, let's start using our thinking organs and start thinking about what's different between a PC and a console. Things like the operating system that it runs, the ecosystem, like manufacture and how they control the market, and all these things. And in response to that is like, oh well, you haven't cited a source, so those aren't facts. But it's like, this is like, it's reality.
It's commonplace. Yeah,
exactly. And
Well-
then when I started to explain to him why a definition isn't always applicable in practice, and then pointed to a few examples, he just outright disregarded that. Like, oh, well, the dictionary definition of feminism is this, but in reality, it's not. Oh, but then let's just ignore that pretty much.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah, whenever it came to like, there was one part, like where he was talking about like like basically all electronics are like computers. And so it's, I mean, I can agree with that. Like those are computers or whatever. But then he was like trying to say like the PS4 or the Xbox One is a PC. Basically in what he said. But there was a guy who actually hacked the PS4 and put Steam on the PS4. However,
Right.
whenever he did that, he broke it down and said, as far as in terms of like the PC, like what a PC is and how it is made up and the way it does its thing, the PS4 is effectively not a PC. It is a computer,
Well, yeah, exactly.
but it is not a PC.
Everything is a computer, but there's a difference between a PC and a console.
Yes,
And
yes.
And the differences have existed for the last. I mean, he pointed to some blurry examples, but the most recent one that he could point to was the Pippin, which came out in about 1995.
I didn't even.
So
Yeah,
for
he
the
brought that
last
up. I didn't
20
even remember
years-
that.
For the last 20 years, every console has pretty much adhered to the criteria that I listed, but that doesn't matter because the dictionary doesn't say, like the dictionary says something so nebulous that anything could be considered. He even conceded that if I built a PC specifically to play video games and I called it a console, that would be legitimate, even if it was just my desktop that I'm sitting right next to.
See, I don't agree with it, because I mean he's basically saying like the PC I'm like messing with right now, that as long as I say it's a console, then it's a console.
See,
Exactly.
See,
can't do
I've
that.
gotten into this with him off air because I wasn't going to do this online. I was going to do this in a debate format
You're
for a
much
video.
smarter than me.
And my thing with him was like if this isn't an industry standard, I don't know why we're having this conversation, because no one company can dictate what an industry standard is. It takes a collective of multiple companies and multiple corporations, developer teams, the whole nine yards, engineers, for it to dictate what the industry standard is, and that's for all aspects of market. That's how this is, and he's coming around the corner with this Alienware saying, oh well, Alienware says this is a console. I'm like, oh well, that's nice, but what does everybody else think? Is there teams behind it developing just for that, or are we just talking about the item itself? Yeah.
I even brought that up. I said, like, so you're saying if I went to Firaxis and asked them, hey, is Civilization on consoles? They'd say, yeah, because it's on the Alienware Alpha.
Yeah.
Like, they made the game. They know what it's on. And it runs on PCs, as in, if you got the disc, it says PC, and if you put that in an Alienware Alpha, if that has a disc slot, then, or if you buy, like, an external disc drive, it's not like it's going to say, sorry, this is a PC game. This is an Alienware Alpha. You need Alienware Alpha games.
Exactly.
I mean, it's such a dumb topic.
Yeah, so really, I mean, and I mean, even if you try to like turn around and say, well, since like the consoles are basically PC or computers or whatever, but the whole internal makeup of a console is completely different. Like the language inside there is different to the point of what the language used inside of a PC is. So even that's
his argument was that the definition didn't encompass any of that, so it doesn't matter.
Oh wow. Like,
yeah,
that's just,
I mean, he didn't say it like that, but
but
pretty much his argument was, well, you haven't cited like a definition that contradicts that, therefore your argument is invalid.
Oh, you can't.
Really
logic and common sense contradicts that all day. Like anything with logic and common sense contradicts that all day. I mean, we can sit there and speak facts about definitions on this, definitions of that, and be semantics, and that's fine. But semantics don't trump commonplace. It just doesn't.
Yeah, and what real world practice? I mean, that's just like you said about feminism. I mean, you can point like that. Even the feminists like to point to the definition all the time, but like your actions speak a whole lot louder than that definition.
Exactly.
And that's the common
definition is just a definition. I mean, you can't. It's not the kind of thing that you can use in a debate, because while you've got a definition, there's reality and what's actually happening in the real world that you have to consider above that.
Yeah, I mean, even there, it's even the people that like scream the racist or whatever, like their whole, if you went by the definition, like how they're referring you to as a racist, you're not a racist because the definition doesn't, you're not
It doesn't
encompassing the
reflect
fact
that at all.
you
That's
don't,
a
you're not
different
saying,
instance, though, because
yeah,
when
but
it
you're not
comes
saying
to
I'm better than a,
yeah, exactly. When it comes to definitions, like in terms of a principle, that's what you look at. But when we're talking about things like naming something,
oh yeah,
that's a lot different, especially when we're talking about things where it's a lot more complicated than a base principle of if you do this, it's the same way. If you advocate for something, then you're an advocate. That's just what the words mean.
yes, yeah, because that, I mean, that you cannot change, like your actions of advocating aren't going to change like it's not going to be different than what the definition actually says.
Right.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
it's pretty much a black and white issue on that. And like when it comes to like the console and like what the definition of the console is compared to like the real world example of the console is completely different. Like
Exactly. He was convinced as well when he said, "Oh, every time I've debated on this topic, people have changed their minds." Yeah,
No.
doesn't look that way. All you need to do is look at the comments
So
on that debate.
so
That's what
Fringy.
he told me, and I was like,
Yeah.
I doubt that.
So
I really doubt that.
So
I think they
Fringy,
just said they agreed with you so they could go home.
I got a question for you, Fringy. In your eyes, and like I guess in his, like who won that debate?
I won the debate.
Okay.
And I mean, it wasn't a good debate. I mean, at least with like Mr. NoobTube Gamer, he sort of showed up in good faith and was willing to actually
Yeah.
have the debate. I mean, he wasn't like with this. I even asked him like, because he was saying, "Oh, this this doesn't reflect my opinion. I don't care about this," which is laughable because if you didn't care, you wouldn't be asking for a debate immediately after I respond to you. But like, at least Mr. NoobTube Gamer was coming with the intention to actually listen. I mean, yeah, I still won that debate, but like I gained a little bit more respect for the guy because of how he behaved during that debate.
Yeah.
With Grimpachi, it's like, dude, come on.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, like of course, like the aftermath of the debate, like how people like started like just treating Grimpachi or whatever. Because like he like on his channel or whatever, like he had a bunch of like, of course, the trolls or whatever coming over there talking about he's just a stupid N-word or whatever, and it's just like I don't know, like
that
how
was a little.
like how
People
did
doing that?
yeah, I was like how do you go
okay.
from
Yeah,
how
dude,
do you
he
go
got a
from
lot of people fucking going over there.
and I'm not I don't
I know a
think
lot of people went over, but I thought most of them were just saying, "No, you're wrong." I didn't know some people were doing.
Oh no,
that,
they
in
were
which
attacking
case,
him.
that's not
Yeah,
cool.
no,
yeah.
they were attacking him
Yeah.
like piranhas.
it's like I mean I get the whole thing. I hate that like like an actual debate over something that was gaming related, which something that doesn't really happen on YouTube a lot. It's usually all drama related. Then all of a sudden turning into something like that is like, come on now, like we should be happy that there's actually a debate happening that is about like the subject that we all are part of.
Yeah,
Because
Not
debates are
some.
not common. On,
Yeah, no, they're not at
on
all.
YouTube for in terms of gaming, because a lot of these dudes just block.
they
Yep,
block.
that's
They
their
whine,
that's their
they
first
cry. Dude,
their first reaction is to block, and then most generally. NoobTube though I think is a glutton for punishment.
He is.
And interesting, actually, I actually got into a pretty decent conversation last night with somebody that talked to him at one point, and he's come to the same conclusion. They think that he is just trying to do all this stuff to rise to the top as fast as possible. He thinks.
I think he is too.
And unfortunately, I mean, you look at the standards that are presented to him when it comes to YouTube standards. That's kind of what a lot of people did, And I think he's just. If you're gonna do it, at least do it at an entertaining level like these guys. Don't like use a shitty camera or shitty audio. Good when you're trying. Make your content available to where everybody can understand it and be coherent. Jesus Christ.
It only costs $20 to get like a pretty good USB microphone, and
Dude,
you don't
yeah,
have to
right?
show your face.
Yeah, and and they
um,
even have like $30 shitty cameras that you can get that are better
Better
than
than
what
your
he's
phone.
that's better than he's using right now. I'm like, man.
He also does he hold the camera as well, because it doesn't. It
I
seems
don't
to,
know.
like, constantly.
I think he
move.
just sets it down. Like
Put
I think
a tripod, $5.
I think he
Yeah.
actually either like sometimes
I've
he has
got
it
like
like
4 of
sitting
them. I'll
down, and
send him
sometimes I
one.
think he holds it or something because it's shaking.
Yeah, I got like 4 of them, NoobTube. If you want one, I'll send you one, like for reals. I'm not even joking. If it
Yeah,
makes your
I
shit
have
better,
several.
I'll be more
If
than
you
happy
need
to help
like
you.
and if you need like an electric shaver, maybe, and like a
We
bottle
can
of
start a GoFundMe.
I don't know, like some acne medication.
Somebody already
maybe.
did actually. They actually started one for him.
Maybe like Google Maps directions to the nearest barber, anything like that. Because you notice he holds his head to the side in all of his videos. It's so that the hair on his head doesn't constantly get in his eyes.
Yeah.
30 years is going to the chiropractor, so why is your neck fucked up?
Yeah.
YouTube videos.
My hair is pretty darn long. My hair goes below my eyes, but it's shaped to where it sits on top of my brow, so I don't have to constantly shake my head and brush it out of my face.
You don't want to look like an Herbal Essence commercial all the time?
I don't. I don't want to look like a rejected Goonies auditioner. Like, I'm sorry, that's just too much.
But I don't know who said it, but I mean, no joke, NoobTube, you got some greasy hair, man. I'm not clowning you on this one. You really like your hair is really really greasy. Like holy shit.
Yeah, and if you are actually washing your hair like every day and stuff like that, and it just happens to come out like that, what my wife has actually done, because she has this problem too, is she actually just like switches up her shampoo about every week, so that way it keeps that from happening. So it might be something you might want to look into.
I mean, having a little bit of respect for your appearance can go a long way when trying to present an argument.
But I honestly
True.
think that because if you look at his content, the shit that he says is
shit, isn't it?
well, I mean, the shit that he says is like you can tell that if he believes it, then there's something wrong. Because I mean, the type of stuff that he says, I mean, everybody knows that isn't true. I mean, like it's time has been tested and proven to be wrong. And so whenever he says it, I think the only reason he's doing is to try to get these bigger channels like Fringy and Rags to like acknowledge him. And then once you do that,
it certainly doesn't help with growth, because when people don't like you,
but a lot of people
want a bunch of hate watchers.
I don't. But I mean, a lot of people just they'll take the hate watchers. They don't give a shit if like. I mean, they actually.
Well,
I think they
oh god,
they enjoy seeing the dislike button actually go
that's
up.
One dude.
Yeah.
That's one dude I wish was off YouTube. Like I really wish I wish someone would break his fucking legs.
He's clearly got mental problems. I mean, can we
person.
just say that? Like he's clearly got something wrong with him mentally.
Oh yeah, he definitely
absolutely.
Does.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really don't know. He must not go out very much because if people saw him in real life, I could only imagine that somebody would like take a shot.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's weird that you've got like he's in his 30s, isn't he?
Yeah.
So
yeah, I would say so probably.
And grading the appearance of teenagers.
It's really weird.
That's not right.
He actually had a thing to where he wanted young girls to send him pictures of them, like in their underwear.
Yeah, he's fucked
how
up.
was he not on a watch list?
He's really fucked up.
I don't know. Like there was other YouTubers that were tweeting it out and like adding the FBI on Twitter and tell them to take a look at it or whatever. So I don't know if
Andy Worski and Repsion and Blair White and Jeff Holiday did a good stream.
Yeah, I watched it too.
But he's messed up.
Yeah, he has issues.
Up. Yeah.
I think out of all those guys, my favorite responses are from Blair. He gets under she gets under his skin so badly.
Well, yeah, because she kind of like breaks the buck of the identity politics thing.
Yeah.
Because it's like he doesn't know how to cope with it. Oh, wait a minute, she disagrees with me and she's trans? And then his head explodes.
And then the whole female thing and the feminism part that he had, it's like everything that he stands for, like she completely goes against. And
there are a lot of people who do though, and like they just ignore them. I mean,
oh yeah,
I don't like a lot of this progressive stuff, and I don't fit the demographic that they like to talk about. But people just assume that my race, because it's like, well, if you disagree with us, you must be white, and they don't seem to realize just how racist that is.
Yep. They that's just the going thing. Like I don't. Yeah. Yeah. I could go on forever about that part because that just like irritates the living hell out of me.
Yeah, it's a little weird.
But yeah, the Scorpio. Like, what did y'all think about the Scorpio specs? Whenever they, I mean, were y'all surprised? I mean, were y'all surprised, or did y'all actually think like I did? Like,
I was.
Seen them yet.
You already know where I was thinking. I was already thinking that was going to be someone like the Pro, and everybody else was kind of blowing it out. But I was being optimistic enough to talk with those people and be like, if you are right, and that's what I left it at. If you are right, that would be cool, and I left it at that. I that's as far as I let it go.
well, yeah. I mean, obviously, if what they were saying was correct, I mean, that would be really damn cool.
Yeah. But I mean, I had a feeling it was going to be like this, and the push back when the Pro launched their shit, I was thinking like, okay, well maybe they are putting new hardware in it. You know, maybe they are
same performance or better performance in visuals
as a 1080p
that you
game
see now, but that it's just not going to be the case. There's no way.
Not, I mean, they could, but I mean, the cost of that box would be way out of proportion for what a console is.
Yeah,
and I mean,
even if they're saying they're going for a hardcore market, that I would be surprised if they sold it for any more than $600 US.
The best thing I think Microsoft could have done was save money on building the Scorpio and just keep doing the color selections for the new Xbox One S.
Try to get people to make games for the Xbox.
I had that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like their controller thing is pretty cool. Like the whole build your own like thing and get your colors and shit. That's actually pretty cool. And if they were to do that with the Xbox, that prints money, dude. People love that shit.
Yeah,
so
I mean, it seems
they
like
could
have
just done that and it would have saved them a lot more money, got more games out. But no, we're just gonna go ahead and cancel developing the studio games out and do stupid shit like this. Why not? Let's do it, guys. It's business.
Well, for some reason, it seems like this generation, like they focus more on the accessory market rather than the actual
really
gaming market. And it's really weird to see their focus. Like I don't know what the reasoning behind it is.
They have canceled a lot of games. That's what I've noticed because it wasn't.
And a lot of studios.
No, it's
they
good.
Shut down.
No, when that's good. That means that
yeah.
That
I was hoping maybe you figured this one out.
It means that like they can use the money towards something even better, according to
as opposed
Xbox
to that
on
game
Twitter.
that people were looking forward to.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know you're looking forward to it, and we know that it's like the only Japanese game that we're releasing on our system
ever.
But yeah, we're gonna reinvest that into Halo 6. It's gonna have an even worse story.
Congratulations!
Psyched.
Oh, and like I was telling Rambo, like that game, besides the Halo and all the other series that I needed to catch up on, that was one of the main reasons why I bought my Xbox One. Like I literally wanted my Xbox One for Scalebound, was because Scalebound looked fucking amazing, and I wanted to see if it was going to be what I thought it was going to be, which was like going to be a Monster Hunter hybrid game, and that's what it was. I was like, oh my god, that's going to be fucking amazing. And
we know Platinum were really looking forward to doing this because this has been an idea that they had for about 7 years, and they've been working on it for what 3.5 to 4 years.
Yep.
Really, they couldn't just knuckle down, give them a little extra money, and get the game out the door.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're never going to be able to work with Platinum again after this. Like,
I don't think
no way.
No, I don't think they'll.
Platinum got to keep their game though, right?
No,
Microsoft owns the IP, so it's just never gonna
fuck
come
all.
to be.
Like,
yeah, it's
all
never.
Platinum's got right now for this year is Near Automata or whatever, and that comes out in a couple of months, I think.
Yeah,
and that's it for this year, pretty much.
I imagine you'll see more from them because I'm sure PlayStation or somebody will pick up PlayStation or Nintendo might pick them up for a project. I imagine.
I hope so, man.
I reckon both of them would because they have a good relationship.
I really would like to see like either PlayStation or Nintendo just pick them up as a studio, because both of them are Japanese companies or whatever, and they both have like
there's a lot of pride,
pretty good relationships with them, and they kind of understand each other. So I think that they would actually, if they could find a home, rather than actually having to try to build 5 or 6 games at a time, if they could just find a home and be able to have the backing of like say a Nintendo or a PlayStation, I think that they could actually like even pump out like one of those titles that you can't you don't want to pass up. You know,
They've
you
Yeah,
got-
want
that would
that.
help because. Oh,
Okay.
sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say they've got a home. They just got to be wanting to develop for it. It's called PC.
What?
Well, yeah, but I mean, well, no, I mean, but that is like the part of their reasoning is because of the like they don't really have a whole lot of money to develop and publish themselves.
Freedom, which they probably would be able to get from Sony or Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems like with Microsoft, that just would never happen. There seem to have been way too many conflicts between the team and Microsoft.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, from the
This
oh, go
is
ahead.
slightly relevant. Let's see. 5 states are considering bills to legalize the right to repair electronics.
What?
So, let me see. Companies tend to.
One more time, Rags. What the hell?
I don't know. I can't hear him, but
I can't
I
hear him
you.
either.
I can't hear me either.
You guys, I don't know the stream disconnected for a split second and it came back earlier. But this, I don't know. I can't hear Rags right now.
Let me take a look at something.
I did that, but what he was saying, like, do people not have the states not actually have the right to repair electronics?
I didn't know that.
I would,
I'm
yeah.
guessing, I think maybe he was saying that you have a right as a consumer to get your electronics repaired. If
without voiding
so
the
like,
warranty thing.
Kind of like the okay, that's
would
actually
be- that
really
would be-
good.
That would be
That
really
would be
nice.
good.
Yeah.
If that's
'Cause
what
then-
it means, that is.
Well, because I mean, the problem right now, like we have a few places here that will repair like your PlayStation and your Xbox, but the cost is like you might as well just buy another console. Like,
Mhm.
if they like one of them, if your DVD drive went out, their estimated cost to replace that is like $280.
What?
I'm like-
that's
I'm like,
ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm like, I might as well just buy another PlayStation. Like, there's no reason for me to give you $280. I mean, I could have just spent what $20 more and get a brand new one.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'm not happy. That's so. I mean, no, but I'm hoping that if they do that, maybe it'll lower cost to where it's actually even competitive as well, too.
Yeah, that would be good. I mean, I'm all for these like actual pro-consumer laws. I think
Same.
you guys could probably use some in the US.
Dude,
Yeah,
Canada's got some of the best right now.
Europe actually has some of the best. Like I've never like if they're unhappy with something or whatever, and it's not working even a year after. The thing is, it doesn't even cover like they don't even have to buy an extended warranty. I think they have like 5 years, and if like something manufacturally that goes wrong, they can just return it.
Yeah.
Get a
That's
brand new one.
really
I'm
good.
like, why can't like the United States have this? Like that, I would love to have some pro-consumer laws like that.
Hell yeah. Well, like
Well,
I mean,
it costs money for the company.
Oh well,
That's
yeah.
why.
I mean, their cost of
this
games
would- but this would-
are higher, but
this would
I'd
force
pay.
them. This would force them to make sure that their product is reliable.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Because they'd rather make a good product than have to be constantly
Instead of
repairing
spamming it and being like, "Oh, we're just trying to make as much money as we can on this, so we're gonna spam as much as possible." Like, no,
Yep.
fuck
planned
that.
obsolescence wouldn't be a thing
Yep.
as well if they had to do it like this. And planned obsolescence is very much a big issue, especially when it comes to phones.
Yep. I mean, even what was it? The PlayStation 2 was a prime example of that, dude. Like, holy crap! If you played that thing for too long, oh my god, your shit would freeze. I mean, you'd kill your PlayStation 2 in less than a year if you played it all the time, like
Yeah.
I did.
It did. Mine eventually stopped working after 5 or 6 years. Games just weren't running, and we'd have to try a couple of times.
Or
for it
like
to
you get the
work.
disc red error like all the time.
Yeah, like the game just wouldn't play.
Yeah.
Especially with the newer releases, and I guess with the 360 prime example, because they rushed it to market.
Yep.
It's
So
funny because people are, oh, Sony, you released a year late. No, Microsoft released a year early. That's why, like, every one of you who bought one in year one had to buy a brand new one again.
yeah.
yes,
Like that is how someone could buy 3 or 4 Xboxes. Like maybe getting another one if it breaks, but if it happened the second time, I'd be done.
Oh, yeah, I would. Me too. There's no way I would have. But they just kept basically going back and buying more and more and more, and I'm like, how do you not get to the like frustration level at some point?
Yeah, exactly. You spend like $1,600 or whatever to play on an Xbox. Remember, consoles just work. It's always what they
Oh,
always say that.
I love that argument. I mean, they work more. I guess I guess they have a higher success rate back before like what PC used to have or what PC was like used to be known for. They had a higher, I guess. I don't know what kind of.
They used to work a lot more.
But now, I mean, now like the games they crash on PlayStation, they crash on Xbox. Now fixing them, you don't have the options like you do like on PC to try to figure out a way to get them to work. Usually, most generally, like I've never actually had one where I needed more than a hard reset. But the people acting like the games just work all the time on console, I don't know like what console do they have because I really want that.
Yeah.
If they're talking about the SNES, then they're right. But
well, even then you still had to blow on the cartridges.
That's true. Yeah.
Hey, you guys.
I think this is the thing though with a lot of these console arguments is that they were valid about 10 to 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Not now.
That's like kind of like what Rags is the video here recently from that Riley Dennis or whatever, to where she was using like the nerd culture definition, kind of like how it used to be back in the 1980s, where everybody was like the outcast. But now it's nothing. I mean, nothing even remotely like that.
Occasionally you'll have someone who's kind of one of those people, but by and large, gaming is a fairly diverse and large audience.
And to try to lump it's like, how do these people like have not seen the changes made through through life? Like how do you still live back in the 90s or the 80s with your thought process, even like towards this PC versus console, nerd culture, whatever? We've moved on past that.
It's really odd, and yet a lot of people do think that way because Anita Sarkeesian wouldn't have made $150,000.
This is true.
Kickstarter. If people actually knew these things.
I actually had somebody, speaking of her, the other day on Twitter. They kind of like attacked this guy because he asked Neil Druckmann if on the Last of Us 2, he could leave the, his identity politics out of the game. Because I guess Neil Druckmann does side with Anita Sarkeesian for some reason. I didn't know this.
He did mention that Ellie was inspired by her, which oh my god.
So that makes sense in like why somebody would said that. But then all he did is ask the question. He didn't say I won't buy it or anything like that. He just asked the question. Well, he started getting attacked by everybody. And then people were starting to go beyond that, saying that like Anita was like a well-needed thing, that we actually need more of her. And I'm like going, what planet are you? Like what? All she's
done is just like set us back in terms of the
exactly
in terms of gaming in the mainstream.
And she's made us look. She's made us go back to almost looking like that we were back in the 80s.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's nothing like that. It blows my mind that these people. I mean, even actual gamers today, like that are actually gaming today and seeing this in, playing while they're playing the games, they still think there's that way. Like, I don't know where this like kind of thought process actually comes from, to where you're actively playing the games, but yet you're still believing what Anita's saying, because you should be able to see for yourself that it's not like what she's saying.
It's not true. I mean, a lot of it's taken out of context, and there's a lot of convenient blinders, I guess, where it's just like, all right, here's this example. It's like, well, what about all of these contrary examples in the same video game?
Yes.
It's like, nope. And plus, a lot of it is unsubstantiated. I mean, okay, women dress, some in video games dress provocatively. What is the problem here? Oh, yeah. Well, it means that they're treated as objects. Are they? I mean, I don't think that. Most people I know don't think that. So you got
I mean, there might be like a small portion of people in the gaming world that like to like look at them as objects or whatever, but that's just that small portion. You can't judge the whole by the small percentage of the people. And anybody can take a anybody can take a agenda that they have about any sort of like politics, like how they're basically how they're doing with Trump right now. Like, if you have an agenda with something going against something, you can selectively take portions out of every little thing, whatever you're trying to research, and fit it fit your agenda. And that's exactly what she did. Yeah, I mean,
there was no real objective other than to push a point that was wrong. And even though it was wrong, she's got to find examples and try and twist them in a way that makes it seem like it's correct. And to somebody who hasn't played these games, they just believe it for some reason. But this is the thing. A lot of like female gamers really don't like her for the same reason that a lot of male gamers don't, because they've played the games and they know that she's lying.
And that's
to make money. It's so obvious. Look at how much money she made when like that whole Gamergate stuff happened, and then she started playing it up to the media.
And then then of course she got the the sponsorships from, or not really sponsorships, but like being brought on to talk shows where you get paid to be on there. She made a fortune off of this.
$10,000 for a speech, by the way, and she's really awful at presenting, like reading directly off the paper. I remember she did a thing in like I think she did a thing in Australia where she basically brought a sheet of paper to read off of because she has such little charisma that she can't even just talk without a script. And yet she's getting paid $10,000 to do speeches.
Yeah.
It blew my mind.
Her Patreon was like she didn't even honor any of the rewards for her Patreon. Like none of them. Like everybody was expecting these things that they were supposed to be getting, and not one thing was honored. And that was the kind of thing that pissed me off. Was like, how can you sit here and capitalize on people on a non-issue, and then when it came to like honoring the reward system that you set up, you didn't even bother doing that. Like, you literally lied to people. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, but she's a non-profit organization. That's why. So she doesn't pay taxes either. I can't believe that. How is that non-profit? Like, it's not educational. Like, it's educational. It gets used in schools. Oh,
our wonderful tax laws that we have here just allow for instances like that to skate by.
Yeah.
And I mean, I had people arguing with me, like talking about like she raised $150,000 when she was asking for 6, and so that means she knows what she's talking about. Like, no, it doesn't really. And so then their other argument was the fact that there's no reason why that anybody should expect her to get her videos out on time. And I was like, I was like,
took them money.
If you're saying I can get for $6,000, that's because that's what you were asking for. I can get these videos out by this deadline, and you get $150,000, and you still don't. There's a even bigger problem with it. If you had just gotten 6, maybe I could give you some sort of leeway, but you got like what is it, 100 times the amount, if not more.
20, I mean, if you get $150,000 from people, you can't tell them, sorry, we're not going to make it this month again for the 5th time in a row.
Yeah,
you got to get that stuff out, and the fact that like people did it again. I think Tim Schafer donated thousands, a few thousand at least, to this next one after he was doing a Kickstarter for Psychonauts 2. What's going on there, mate? You're asking people for money, but you clearly got a lot to spend if you're throwing at these unnecessary feminist projects on the internet.
That's
it's just I don't
Tim has lost the plot. He's absolutely lost the plot, man.
To say it as nicely as possible.
I'm also fascinated that someone could ask for $200,000 for a video series. The videos are about 2 to 3 minutes long, because it's one that she's doing now with these women in history, which is in and of itself is not a bad topic. Though it would be nice if she didn't make it about the fact that they were women and just the fact that they did interesting things. But $200,000 for what, 6 or 7 videos that are 3 minutes long? That is some of the most expensive videos I've ever seen.
Oh, my favorite part is when her boyfriend used to try to tell me back in the day that the fees for a studio where they live was astronomical. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, but I thought you guys were filming in your apartment. Like, what?
Cut costs, man. Cut costs. If it's too expensive, cut costs.
But still, it was just the fact that, like, they used that as a justification, right? Like, it was like everybody knows that you're filming in your apartment, and you're saying that you're using that full-on studio. A studio out here would not cost $1,000 for 10 minutes. You know what I mean?
And so,
It
yeah,
doesn't
and
work that way.
If a lot of their costs are from buying equipment, that is a serious misallocation of resources.
Oh my
Like,
god!
I would not want to hire you as a project manager, honestly,
wouldn't.
if
Not
you're
at
this
all.
bad. Like, this is why she really has to try and keep this business going, because she really couldn't be employed in any position like that.
Yeah, I
If
agree.
you had any sense.
But I was gonna step out for a minute. Rags is back, you guys. His internet, I guess, came back. Yeah,
Yeah.
Your internet dropped out on you.
Yeah, just no. That it's pretty rare for that to happen.
Yeah, Discord actually was starting to act up as you got disconnected. Discord actually went into the red for me, along with YouTube. It was kind of strange. So everybody in the chat was like, "Oh, they're being DDoSed." I was like, "No, no."
Yeah.
But I'll be right back, you guys.
Maybe one day
Reg,
we'll
you
be.
were talking about something to do with new laws in the US.
Yeah, I wanted to hear about that.
Well, I posted a link in Discord. Did it go through?
I don't know. I wasn't looking at
In
the.
the shit post.
Let me see.
Because it was
I don't.
something.
Unless other people.
Let me go to.
No, I don't see anything from you.
Go back here. Yeah, it. Well, never mind. Then don't worry about it. What's up with this Ghost Recon Wildlands thing? Has anyone actually played it?
What do you mean? What's up with it? I haven't heard like what
anyone
you're.
played it. Does anyone know?
Is
Because
there a beta or anything? I don't know.
there's gonna be one early next month, but I didn't know if anybody had if anyone knew anything about it.
We don't know a lot. We've only seen very controlled demos.
And it didn't look fun at all.
Yeah, it really didn't.
Like it didn't look interesting in any way at all.
It looks
It's yet another one of these like open world games in a big empty world that's just a bunch of wilderness where you take outposts again.
It's just gonna be a bigger Rainbow Six Siege, like a bigger world.
Rainbow Six Siege is actually fun. So
yeah, well, I mean,
yeah.
mainly I think a lot of that is because of it's kind of like direct to the action, but that one, with it being that the massive world that it's going to be, and then only having a few players that you're going after, it seems like you're going to get kind of bored with the whole thing, because you're going to be like going for quite a while without even getting in contact with any actual player.
This is a big issue with a lot of open world games now. It seems strange that in the early 2000s, a lot of open world games were dense cities. And now in 2017, many open world games are just big, empty environments.
Yeah, there's
big.
Nothing
there's a lot to do.
Well, they're putting like you said earlier, they're putting so much focus on graphics that they're negating the actual, what makes the game fun.
Why is it even called Ghost Recon? I mean, what is it about the game that is Tom Clancy's?
Yeah.
Tom Clancy was thinking about this when he first came up with it. Like, I mean, come on, it doesn't look like Ghost Recon at all.
Yeah, kind of like Tom Clancy's The Division.
Yeah, that's it's just like, hey, we got something that's vaguely militaristic. Let's put Tom Clancy's name on it. This is exactly what he wanted.
There was I remember the first Ghost Recon, or no, it was Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter, I think it was called.
Yeah, I think so.
And that game was actually pretty good. I played it ages ago on the Xbox. And it worked okay. It was kind of like the first game I played that was sort of tactically. You couldn't just run around and shoot everything. And once I learned it, it was kind of nifty. But
yeah, I've never played that one, but it did look cool.
A lot of these games that are like super tactically hardcore, like Squad was the amount of time I've spent actually playing Squad. It was really not that great. I mean, it was mostly walking around, not doing much.
Mm-hmm.
And then you would just die because some guy was on a hill.
200 meters away and he looked at you. It just wasn't fun at all.
Well, realism doesn't mean fun, basically, because in
Pretty
reality,
much.
it's not very fun to just walk around and then get shot and die, because that's what actually happens.
Yeah.
I'm not really getting what the deal is with Ubisoft in terms of what they're doing with a lot of these Tom Clancy series. Like they kind of did the same thing with Conviction, where they completely changed it and made it all streamlined and hardcore and cool. When
like
reality,
Conviction and
the old games
Blacklist
were
I
fun.
really liked, but
I liked Blacklist, but Conviction not so much.
I know there was but before that I couldn't tell you the last Tom Clancy game I played actually.
Oh, really? There aren't that many anymore, I don't think.
No, I mean
They
I
occasionally come out, but
I played like Splinter Cell or whatever, but I never. I can't really think of a whole lot that besides like the Division since then, like besides like the Division and
Their Rainbow Six is
Rainbow
doing
Six.
really well.
Rainbow
Rainbow
Six.
Six.
it has been.
Rainbow Six. I'll
Yeah.
be honest with you guys. Like it's actually pretty good. I didn't think I was gonna like it, but it is that perfect balance between mill and fun. Like it's not your old school Rainbow Six like it was back in the day, where you actually had to, if you were playing with your friends, you had to like buckle down and fucking go about it strategically. You had to make sure you didn't get hit. This one's pretty cool. This isn't nothing like that actually.
I need to try Escape from Tarkov. H1Z1 is good too, but the what's it called? Let me see. DayZ actually. I like it when DayZ kind of all comes together,
Yeah.
but the amount of times it actually happens and it takes so long for it to actually happen, it's just a bore. Like all these games they're just boring chores of games. They're just
Part
boring.
of it has to do with the fact that they're not done as well. Like, I think there's a lot more polish that these games need. Like, interesting ideas that aren't fully realized.
Yeah.
Like that Battle Royale game mode. I know that they added in the Division because they added in Survival, like a Battle Royale style thing, and it was actually pretty fun.
It was, yeah. I played it with a friend a couple days ago, and it is actually pretty good. It is actually pretty good. It just needs a lot more polish to it.
Yeah, because it's at its core, it is a fairly simplistic thing. You know, run around, rummage, keep warm, and then get to the center.
Yeah.
What other?
That's still better than anything Call of Duty's doing at the minute. Have any of you bought Infinite Warfare? Like,
I have it.
Legitimate question.
I have it.
Yeah, I have.
Oh, really?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Oh,
It's actually the campaign is like a lot of fun. I actually enjoyed the campaign.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, Fringy. I'm part of the issue with Call of Duty. I'm one of those community members that are like bitching. They bitch about the game. They bitch about the new things that are coming out with it that are like anti-competitive. And then I jump into it, and then I'm thinking, "Wow, this is nothing like I thought it was gonna be." And then I enjoy it, and then it happens every year. Yeah.
And then you start like
I'm an asshole.
his bitching's gonna start like here in the next few months. Like once they start
when the
announcing
new one
like,
comes
the next
out, I'm
one.
gonna be like, "This is dog shit. I'm not gonna buy this." Oh,
Plus,
look,
it's
a
like
sale, guys.
When will Call of Duty
I
ever
was like
learn?
that too. I was like that, but then I was like, nah, you know what, I'm done. I'll maybe buy the Treyarch ones, but I'm done with this series. Like, I really am.
It actually isn't. I mean, it's not that I haven't played the multiplayer. I've never really been a big COD multiplayer person because I just suck at the Call of Duty. But I played the campaigns, and like the campaign was one of the better. I enjoyed it more so than the Black Ops 3 campaign. Like it was
Right. Yeah. That's I think what I've been hearing is that the multiplayer is really bad even by Call of Duty standards in terms of like netcode issues, poorly designed maps, and a lot of design choices not playing as well as they should.
Well, the map. Okay, so the map thing, I don't know about the map thing, but the netcode, yes, the netcode is fucking trash. This is probably like one of the worst ones out there. People, let me put it this way, dude. You remember Call of Duty for the original, right? Back in the day?
Yeah.
First online experiences, and we thought, yeah, this is pretty good. But then as we progressively got better with our internet speeds, we go back and it's like, God, this was dog shit. It's at those. That's what that is for Infinite Warfare Online. That's literally what that is.
But the thing with Call of Duty is I always get really annoyed about that because when they're making that much money and they still don't have online up to the same standard as say Battlefield,
Yep.
it's just not okay. There are a lot of things, you know. Battlefield does so many things better than Call of Duty. It's just a better game all around, and yet Call of Duty is still the most popular shooter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why. I guess it's
I think it was the first
it's
one
because
really
it's
on
really
the.
really easy to play. There's a lot
It's
of cheap,
accessible.
easy to use stuff in it. It's very 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 quick, and it's easy for anyone to just pick up and do well in for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, it's easy for them to do well because there's no skill gap because of the way that the game is designed. You never
Yeah.
know where enemies are coming from because they don't have 3 lanes anymore. It's all mixed up everywhere, so anybody can come from anywhere. Anybody can be on a wall or come up from above. So it means you have no idea where anybody's coming from. Whereas with other better shooters, you at least have a general idea of where to point the gun, you know, when they're coming.
Sorry about
I'm
that.
beginning to wonder, like, do you think that obviously it won't be this time around, but do you think the reason why Black Ops 2 has not been given to backwards compatibility to Xbox? Do you think that they're going to be like their next thing is that they'll make the remaster of that?
I'm sure they will. I'm sure they
I
will.
mean, because they've got the first one, they've got the third, and obviously the third one, but it seems like the second one they just haven't gotten, no matter how many times that people have asked for it. So it makes me wonder if that's like what their intention are for the. And with Treyarch, I like Treyarch's games.
Yeah, same here.
Treyarch has become
Right.
somewhat of like the darling of the Call of Duty franchise. It's literally
They've become the A team.
yeah.
Yeah.
Infinity Ward, they were the A team. And then they got tired of it. They were like, I want to develop other stuff. But Treyarch
The
is
reason
like,
why is really because like Infinity Ward got significantly fractured after Modern Warfare 2. A
Yeah.
lot of the talent went to Respawn.
oh yeah,
So their Infinity Ward in name alone is not the same team.
right, exactly. Infinity Ward, it's like it has almost gotten to the point now. If you see an Infinity Ward game, pretty much steer clear of it. I mean, there are reasons for that. I'm not saying that this game is bad, but I'm just saying in general, you would want to stay clear from it.
I
Because
wonder what they're going to do this year though with Call of Duty.
Sledgehammer. So that's a good question, actually.
Because I think Advanced Warfare 2 would be a really bad idea.
The first one went over so well, man.
you know what
Oh,
though,
yeah,
that one was actually pretty
everybody loved
good. Yeah, no, a
It
lot of
wasn't-
people
yeah.
actually liked it.
It was
good.
all right. Yeah, it certainly wasn't bad, but I mean,
I
think a lot of people just wanted to go back
was-
to World War II.
It was literally the first good Call of Duty that's been on console since.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it really was because Ghost was abominable. Ghost was, oh my god, I
Hey.
hate that game. So,
dude, that game is a meme in itself. I mean, who remembers the announcement when the guy was like, "We spent so much time in design for each level that the fish are AI."
the fish swim out of the water and go near them. That was oh man, look, it's a dog. You got a dog in your squad, isn't he awesome?
The hair follicles on the dog are realistic. We're using a whole new developing technique. It's called tessellation.
I love how they also lied about the fact that it was on a new engine. They're like, yeah, it's a new engine, but it's not really. It's still Quake engine from like 1996.
It's like 3.6, 0.7.5 with additions.
Yeah.
So it's a new
you
engine.
can call it RW engine 10 all you want, but it is still Quake engine. That's why you don't have destructible environments, because your engine sucks and you should feel bad about it.
Right.
I mean,
Like,
since there's nothing about Call of Duty now that even like remotely interests me. Like it
That's
is
a good way
so
to
it
say
is
it.
so mediocre looking, and I played the demos for Ghosts, and it was I hate it. It was so boring. I played Black Ops 3 demo, and it was okay. Black Ops 3 was okay. I played, what was it, the Black Ops 2 free weekend, and I didn't like that either. I mean, they're all just the same, and they're all not good.
Yeah, like at a fundamental level, they really aren't well-designed games anymore. I mean, they used to
They
be
aren't.
pretty fun, but
I could
but
still
the
play
thing
COD
was,
4.
yeah, exactly. I mean, COD 4 just was a much better game, and a lot of people say, "Oh, it's nostalgia." It's like, no, it is the better game, just
It's
in many
always the
ways.
first of the series. It's always the first of the new series that do really well. You look at Call of Duty 4,
Mass
Modern
Effect,
Warfare.
Dragon Age. No, that's just Bioware fucking their games up.
Right.
But wouldn't you
Yeah.
say that Black Ops 2 is better than Black Ops 1?
No,
You don't
I
think so?
absolutely
like
not.
the first Black Ops
I
more
love,
personally.
yeah,
I thought it
same
had a
here.
much better
Yeah.
campaign.
See, I think
really-
the reason why Black Ops 2 is so popular, like the way it is because of the zombies on there, not really because of the
Oh yeah, it's
multiplayer or the.
zombies. Yeah.
So so would the zombies be better in Black Ops 2? Is that the reason for the popularity of it over?
Honestly, I could care less about zombies personally. I mean,
I don't really care about zombies.
Yeah,
yeah, that shit
I
was
don't- I
boring
mean-
to me. I literally fell asleep in some
Zombies
matches.
was boring to me too. I didn't like it how the zombies got stronger and stronger as you went, so you had to keep like upgrading your weapons, and it wasn't, the difficulty was just, oh, the zombies are just, they have more health.
It wasn't that you had to really like.
Yeah.
It wasn't that the zombies got smarter and started to force you to play differently. It was like, well, I don't have a strong enough gun to kill these things, so I guess I'm going to lose this round.
Pretty
and then
much
lose the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's lame. I don't
I mean,
like that.
that is lame. It's like, my gun isn't strong enough, so I'm fucked.
Exactly. It's like, especially when, it's like, why are these zombies somehow resistant to like 10 buckshot rounds to the face? Yet the first zombies I could stab and they went down immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that. That's why I like Killing Floor 2 so much.
Killing Floor
Because
2
it
is
wasn't
fucking
about-
amazing.
Yeah, because it does difficulty really well, because the enemies don't necessarily get tougher for the most part. You just have to get
Higher numbers,
headshots.
pretty much. That's it.
There's different numbers or different actual types of the zombies that come, and they do different attacks, and they move around in different ways.
Yeah.
Not just your
I
weapons.
gotta
are
pick that
weak.
game up. Seriously.
It's
I've
really
heard
good.
nothing but
I
good
don't
things.
like zombie games, Fringy, but that game I could actually sit down and play for a really long time.
And Ray, you put like 200 hours into that game or something, haven't you?
I'm about 400 in Killing Floor 2.
Jeez.
Because it's one of the reasons why I have like almost 380-ish hours in Dirty Bomb, but I don't even have 40, I don't think, in Overwatch, because there's this level of replayability that one has that the other just doesn't.
Yeah.
Like, I could barely play maybe 2 Overwatch games in a row before I'm just like, okay, this is boring and it's not fun and I've had enough and it's not interesting. But with like Killing Floor 2 and with Dirty Bomb and even with Vermintide 2, the base of what it is very entertaining. It's not just
Right.
like, see, like I just like I'm playing Overwatch now, and it's just not really all that fun. There's this base level of skill that Vermintide and Dirty Bomb and Killing Floor 2 has that kind of equates to how good are you with the weapons in your hand, not how can you exploit the uber powerful skills that your character has. Like, I think Ultimates ruin Overwatch. This has the potential to be a really awesome game, but the Ultimates ruin it. Because it's not about being good, it's about pressing Q at the right time, or using your auto aim gun, or it's just like, it's about who can use their bullshit character the best. That's basically Overwatch. And then you press Q
There
to
are
win.
a lot of shooters that actually have now implemented that whole super system. It's weird. Titanfall was
hate
like
it.
the first one that I can think of, but at least with that, it's like, all right, here's a new gameplay mechanic, so it's actually really cool. But
Yeah,
that
but
was kind of the first.
And matchmaking
the
is
first shooter that
shit
had
in
that.
Overwatch too.
But Titanfall, I mean, like, sure, everybody had the ability to get your Titan, but in order for you to actually effectively use the Titan, you actually had to be actually decent at the.
Good at it.
Yeah, you had to be
Yeah.
decent enough
That's
to.
why I
to
like Titanfall.
Yeah,
I know.
That's why
will
I
shout
don't
that
like
game's
that. I
praises
don't
from the
like that
rooftop.
idea.
Same.
You shouldn't get access to more powerful abilities because you're already doing good anyway. That's stupid game design. Like with a shooter does not need a rich get richer function to it.
But the thing with like Titanfall that works is that there are very good counters to Titans, like the fact that a pilot's much faster and has a lot of maneuverability, and that you got to be a good player to be able to efficiently take out pilots. Because if there's a good one, they can.
No, you just look at them and they get vaporized, man. Let's not kid around here. It's like if a Titan looks at you in Titanfall,
if they see you, you're in trouble for sure. But I mean, like, trust me, I've played a lot of Titanfall, and
yeah, I've taken quite a few. I've gotten on Titanfall kill streaks as a pilot a few times.
The thing was, they tried to make it really difficult to get a Titan.
Oh my god. I'm like, what the fuck? People adore this game, and I don't see it. I just don't see what they adore.
I do like the game.
He does this from time to time.
I love Overwatch. Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
I can't see why someone would like it if they don't like that design, and I can see the issues with that design philosophy of press this button and get 5 kills. Like it's not. It kind of rewards. It doesn't really reward strategy. It's more about use this at this.
The Roadhog just did it again. I just respawned and walked out, and same guy just boop, hook me, pull me in from 60 feet away, hit me once with a shotgun, and you're dead. That takes so much skill to do. I was like, I'm amazed at how good this guy is at the game. I know he's better than me because he plays as Roadhog. So he just looks at who he wants to kill and he pulls him in with a hook and he shoots him once. Such a great game.
You guys hear about the new DLC that's coming for Battlefield 1? Finally adds the French in a World War I game.
Oh, nice.
That'll be nice.
Should have been there from the start, but whatever.
I kind of figured they would have been at the beginning. You know what I mean? Like I thought for sure they would have been there.
They were main above the US.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, they should have been above the US in
a
World War I game.
No, they shouldn't have. Because people in the US don't want to fucking plays the French and not have plays the US. But like, there's a reason they put the United States in.
Oh,
but people in the US buy the game.
We know the reason, but I mean,
to be accurate to World War I, you got to have the French.
Right.
In first, yeah.
They were one of the main ones. Again, it would be like if you made a World War II game without Germany.
Yeah, it would have been. It would be stupid. Yeah, I get what you mean.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, that was just one of the things. Like they wanted to stick with as close to
Soldier 76
to be as accurate as possible.
Kills the team.
And that was the one thing that I found weird too. Is like they did like you might have like said that you want to be accurate, but then you left out like one of the most accurate details.
Well, I mean the game itself is inaccurate in a lot of ways. Like there's pretty much no trench warfare in the entire game.
They didn't have trenches back then. Come on now.
I mean, I'm hoping that with new DLC they'll add specific factions to the game. I mean, I guess it's a bit difficult if you're trying to add new ones for the triple alliance, I think it was called, which was Germany, Austria-Hungary, and Ottoman. But they need to add Russia as well. And it would be nice if they threw us a bone and put in the Anzacs. I mean, they put them in the campaign. Why not put them in multiplayer?
Mm-hmm.
I've barely played that campaign. I finished the last one and then I started the tank one and then I got about halfway through that and
tank one is a bit of a slog.
I haven't played it yet, but there was a thing that came out today. I guess some publication did like the 25 most emotional PlayStation 4 games. And Battlefield 1 was listed on there. Is there some like emotional portion to it? I don't know. That's what I was trying to figure out. Like,
there's one good section in the story where like you're forced to play as a bunch of different soldiers in a war where like you're basically
it's the opening. You got to play as
you play as the Harlem Hellfighters, I think, and basically like your characters will get killed, and then you switch to a different soldier. They get killed. And then it shows you like their name and their date of birth and that they're dead. And that was effective because it's like a lot of soldiers were pretty much doomed from the start.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is that when you transition into the actual campaign, you're like one dude taking on a lot of... There are very few sections of the game that I can think of where you were fighting alongside a bunch of other people. And it seems weird that they wouldn't do that in a fucking World War I game. Because they did it with Call of Duty and Call of Duty 2. We were fighting alongside tons of of Allied soldiers.
Yeah.
Like that was really weird, actually, because there are a lot of sections where you're pretty much going at one man, like in that tank section. There's this mission where you have to go stealthy, and you pretty much take on an entire outpost.
I played
with like
that.
30
It was
dudes.
boring, just like the rest of it. It's just the same old Call of Duty nonsense, just with a World War I skin on it.
Yeah.
It's weird that
Stealth
it's weird that
completely
campaigns have
100%
regressed, though.
optional.
It's weird that they've regressed because, the original couple of Call of Duties were really good in terms of their campaigns.
Yeah.
And they had a lot more of these really effective emotional parts. There was I think in the original Call of Duty, you're in Stalingrad, and it's kind of like ripping off that enemy at the gates scene where they're pretty much running into enemy fire.
Well, that was at World at War. The whole fountain thing was basically ripped from Enemy at the Gates.
Yeah, Call of Duty has stolen a lot from Enemy at the Gates. Like the entire Stalingrad mission in the first Call of Duty was Enemy at the Gates, like verbatim. It's weird. Yeah, World at War was pretty effective in that regard. They had a lot of it wasn't really emotional. It was more that it was really brutal.
Yeah.
I was wondering because it kind of threw me off. I was like, I've never pictured like them being like an emotional game at this point. It's like maybe back whenever they were really heavy campaign focused, but not now that they transitioned all over to a
Genjis are some annoying pieces
multiplayer.
of shit, aren't they?
Yeah, because they just don't put enough attention.
Yeah, they don't.
In the campaign.
They just put enough to call it a campaign, basically.
Oh,
and they even reuse maps in the campaign. Like the Lawrence of Arabia campaign, they reused Sinai Desert for the whole
Sinai
fucking
Desert,
thing.
yeah.
The whole thing is pretty much Sinai Desert. And I think one of the DLC maps that they added was that campaign mission for the British side.
Yay.
And the entire Italian one was that the Alps map. So yeah, they're putting a lot of effort into that campaign.
Let's see, what are they saying? Super cheap on eBay and Craigslist. Found some.
Oh,
that's cool.
Donald Trump.
Oh, yep.
He
He's doing the
signed
wall.
an executive order that is going to affect gaming.
Oh, really?
Basically, there's going to be tariffs for any game imported that's not made here in the United States.
What?
So basically, like make it kind of try to force these companies to build a shop here,
A video game factory.
whatever, to where they do it here instead of importing them in. And if they import them, there's going to be a tariff, and there's no number yet exactly as to how much the tariff is going to be, but it's coming.
That's both good and bad.
Yeah, it's good and bad.
Yeah, Roadhog again. Just I want to kill you.
Yeah, somebody actually said that. Well, I'm glad I don't live there. And I'm like, you do realize that if he does this, it's going to affect video game prices everywhere. It's not just going to be the United States that gets affected.
Maybe we should expect that bump to $70 finally.
Well, the FCC guy he put in charge is vehemently anti-net neutrality.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's
And he is very, very against net neutrality.
So he's like
That's
all
very, very
about
bad,
he's
obviously.
great. So he's all about trying to censor the internet.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm really hoping that these guys who talk on the internet about how they're all about freedom and stuff will be calling him out on this. I don't want to see these.
His
people
picks
who've
have been a mixed bag indeed.
Yeah, like this is my big concern with all of these like sort of prominent figures that have arisen. Like, oh yeah, no, we're for the truth, we're for freedom, and like we're unbiased. Like, I really hope I'm seeing videos about the truth about these appointees or some shit like that.
Yeah, I'm not too happy.
You know exactly who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, and I mean, I don't know if Fringy minds me like speaking about this like while he's on here, but the Mexican president like came like I guess like they had I guess Trump did a thing today, some kind of ABC interview, and was talking about the wall, and he still came back and said, you know, it'll be like they'll pay for it either, you know, through paying for it or through like he said complicated things, but basically through trade deals, just raising the prices until they end up paying the thing off. But the Mexican president like issued a Twitter video, and I guess somebody went through there and that's from Mexico or whatever and kind of like translated everything. And he's basically saying that their Mexican embassies here are going to be open for immigrants that are running from deportation. They're going to house them, and they're going to be a safe space for them, and for Mexican not immigrants, but Mexican nationals here. And so I'm wondering, like, how's that actually going to work out? Like, if Mexico is actively defying him, like, how's he going to take that? Because you can't storm in on the embassy.
Illegal immigrants at that stage, they're now breaking the law.
But you can't. They're not though, because like since they're in like their embassy is Mexican territory, so like right. You. And if we cross that to get them, that's an act of war.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, Mexico is really not in any place to
that's
fight
a lot
us
of people, though.
That's what I mean, though.
Mexico's
I mean, like that's the thing.
Shit if we do something about it.
That's true.
Well, no, but I would be vehemently pissed if Trump sent anybody over into a embassy's on the embassy's ground, because that like you're violating a long-standing written
sovereignty.
Yeah, and that's you can't like ignore sovereignty.
But at the same time, would Mexico actually do these things, or are they just gonna say this because?
Oh yeah, this is true. I mean, that's definitely
I don't think they would go up against the United States in this kind of fashion.
We would fucking steamroll them.
Where we would kill them in trade.
I mean, you wouldn't think that would be a very smart decision on their part.
No, it wouldn't. They just need to work with the U.S.
They need to
now. So work with him.
Yeah, try to figure out the best way possible to make both parties as happy as possible. But not basically take the hardline stance of we're not doing it, because that's not going to work out for you. And your threat, if you have a threat of war, like that's not going to really be much of a threat.
Oh yeah, threat of war against the United States. Like that's going to work out brilliantly.
Right.
I mean, regardless of one's opinions on his policies, at least he's like already putting the like wheels in motion.
He's doing more now than pretty much what's his face did in the entirety he was here.
I mean, I like seeing
hours. Nonetheless,
I like seeing action behind what's going on. And today he actually tweeted out, because Chicago murders, the murder rate in Chicago has risen 24% higher as of now, as of this time this year, than what it was last year. So it's on record to be one of the deadliest years in Chicago yet again.
Yeah.
And he said that if they don't figure it out, he's sending the feds in. Martial law.
Oh, jeez.
But it's really bad, though. I mean,
that's some bad stuff.
This is getting to a point now where
that's what he tweeted out today.
They're averaging like a death by shooting a day. Like
I think there's been 42 murders, so there's been like 2 per day, maybe.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
I'm pretty sure more people get killed in Chicago like every year than here in my entire country.
Yep.
Oh yeah. We actually there was one month there that more people died in Chicago than what died in the war.
That's.
Jeez.
Yeah, that was
sad.
An actual statistic too. They're like, yeah, this is why we call it Chirac. In fact, it was one of the most popular memes because it was factual and it wasn't just a meme. They call it like it's ridiculous. And these guys, there's artists right now, or if you want to call them that, promoting killing in Chicago like it's another day, like another day's work. Like, what the fuck? You got like 10-year-old kids over there repping with guns and shit and fucking smoking cigars. I'm like, dude, what is this? Like fucking Liberia? Like, what the fuck?
I don't really like the whole idea of the martial law.
No,
But I mean,
no,
I don't like the idea of it
mean,
either, but something has to give.
I mean, at this point, what more can you actually do? I mean, I don't know. The police aren't keeping it under control. I just don't see what else.
Well, no,
What more you
there's
could
not
possibly
a whole
do
lot
there.
of police to keep it under control, right?
I mean, before Trump took president, there was the only thing that happened regarding Chicago was apparently the DOJ was criticizing that the police were being too tough on something.
Gangs.
I forget on the
Minorities?
being too tough on like citizens and stuff.
So I mean, something's got to give there because I mean it's getting beyond accept like any form of acceptability.
It does seem strange though that in like a lot of these really bad cities that are like 100% Democrat, that they would still continue to vote Democrat when it doesn't seem to be helping them at all.
You would think.
Like it's not working. Whatever they're doing is not working. I'm not sure what they can do.
But they believe the media in Chicago puts out like saying, well, the neighboring states don't do their job on cracking down on guns. So our citizens can go over there, buy a gun, bring it back, and that's where all the problems.
Yeah, that's not what the problem is.
No, but that's what I mean.
not what the
But the media, like so many people, don't think for themselves, and they allow the media just to tell them what to think, and that's a lot of the problems that we have today with just like the reason why a lot of people think the way they do of Trump is because if you ask them, that they always just spout off what the media has basically said, and so they're doing the exact same thing in Chicago, like basically telling them, oh, it's not really our fault, it's their fault, and they're buying it for some reason. I couldn't. It seems like just common sense would tell you differently.
Really deep to where they need to actually I think it would probably be a good idea to try and encourage people to actually stay in this school by funding schools properly. I don't know if that would help. Maybe keep the family unit together because that seems to be a big issue.
Oh yeah.
Like you got like kids getting born out of marriage and then the parents never get married, so they don't have a dad. And then they start joining gangs because they're not going to school. I mean, I'm boiling it down to simple things, but I mean that's probably a start.
It really, that would fix a lot, I think. No, martial law should be like your absolute last resort.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like I said, though, something has to give. There's got to be something that happens.
We've gone to the last resort pretty damn quickly.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying is like with him saying that, we know that if he's saying that with like his recent executive orders on other things, that he literally means that that's going to happen. But how long is he going to take before he actually pulls that trigger? Because I mean, it's not like it's going to magically get better in the next month.
Fring, your phone keeps vibrating there.
Yeah, I know. It's someone in the Discord. I'm trying to turn it off. Hold on.
Messaging.
And people is like Imgur is cancer now. Imgur is fucking cancer now that Trump's president. Everyone's bitching about the stupidest things now, and when, for instance, like you got like this thing with him and the EPA or whatever. Like, yeah, it's a shitty thing to do, but it's not really that big of a deal at all. And now everyone, and they're not focusing on either all the good stuff he's done so far or all the controversial other things he's done that actually matter. And they're just like,
and better yet, the time
about something
and the time, but they're not even talking about the time that he's been doing this in.
Yeah, but I mean the EPA things that does concern me because I mean you're just from what all we know is what we've been told on the media. Like I can't see the actual document that he signed and what the rules are. But from what it sounds like is like that they basically are only going to be capable of actually working if they get the approval of every single thing approved through Trump and his team. But he's adamantly, been told like a climate change denier. So, I mean, it doesn't look good for those people in their jobs. And like,
but people have also said he was adamantly a racist too. Remember?
Well, no, yeah, no. I mean, he's
No,
like
I know.
from shit that he's actually said himself.
No,
like
I understand. No, he is a climate change denier, but like he's also willing to work with people. I
Yeah,
mean,
I'm just hoping that this isn't like indicative of him like basically end up just cutting the EPA out, because they are needed. Maybe not
Exactly.
maybe not to the extent of what they were being used, to where they basically cut off every access to everything. But there is a definite use for them. I just hope that
Yeah.
I just don't want to see them like completely go to where our environment just goes to shit,
yeah.
But part
like
of this
more
will
than
have
what it
to
is.
part of this will have to rest on people actually calling him out on it, as opposed to just like turning a blind eye.
Yeah,
Like I know it's a situation like the boy who cried wolf, but like sometimes you need to actually be on top of it and criticizing him, because it's not like everything he does is great.
oh no, not at all. Like
Like by
there's a
no
lot of
stretch of the imagination.
things that I disagreed with him on, but I mean just from what there's a lot of things I did agree with him on as well too. I mean,
Yeah.
I have no
All I'm
problem
saying
like
is I think there are a lot of groups that aren't actually like properly criticizing him.
no,
It's like,
they're
well,
picking the wrong battles, I think.
yeah, like, well, the media's lied about all this stuff, so like we're just never going to address whenever he actually fucks up.
Yep, pretty much, and that's another dangerous thing, because it kind of gives him like a blank check to,
Yeah.
and everybody should
I
have some
mean,
sort of checks and balances.
I think the people you need to keep an eye on in this are like the people who are enthusiastically supportive of political candidates, because generally when we're dealing with people who are like, yeah, I actually really like this person, it's like, all right, time to keep an eye on that person when it comes to their reporting,
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
a good journalist should not be repping many political candidates at all, and should not be like proud to say President Trump. Like, you're a journalist, you should be criticizing his ass.
Yeah.
yeah, and I mean, like, well, CNN, like that was one of the big things with CNN, because like they came out and said like they were talking about like Hillary, and the reporter on air said like, well, there's like no, she should win, because like not too many people have actually promoted her quite the way we have. Like we've actually basically
Yeah.
just made her candidacy for her, and
Yeah,
I'm like,
that was the same issue the other way around.
yeah,
With,
yeah, I'm
Hillary
like,
Clinton and them.
yeah, I'm like going, you're like, wow, like how do you do that as a reporter? I to me, you're supposed to be like skeptic. You're the skeptic of the bunch for everybody.
The failings of the
Yeah.
the like professional skeptic community.
Yep.
Like, that's a situation where you got a lot of people who don't actually understand what journalism is. Journalism is about reporting fairly.
Yes,
And,
both ways.
in a manner that's predicated on facts without inserting your opinion into it. Like, that's commentary. That's being a pundit. And there are too many fucking pundits and not enough journalists.
Yep. And the ones that are actually doing the journalism are getting labeled as a pundit.
Yeah, and now on the internet though, there are a lot of people who are pundits who think that they're journalists as well when they're not. Like,
Far too many.
I'm reporting things that the mainstream media don't, but I'm also talking bollocks too. Therefore, I'm a journalist. Like,
Yep.
no, journalism is about going out, finding the stories, and reporting fairly and based on the facts.
And don't bring the story to like
And
half-ass.
never
Like
settling.
actually,
Never settling is like one of the most important things about being a journalist. Don't ever
That's one of
settle.
the-
Exactly.
kind of like what BuzzFeed did to the point to where they like just leaked the whole dossier of. They even like labeled it before they did it. This is we don't even know if this is actually true, and we know for a fact a lot of this is actually untrue. But we want to give, since we're talking about it, we want to give the American people every bit of it, so that way you can just read for it and come.
It's like, wow.
And like they didn't even label what was actually untrue. And so like that, like there's too much of that, like where they consider themselves journalists, but you have an agenda, and it's not, you're just a pundit against a particular person, which it's a danger. Yeah, it's definitely a dangerous like precedent, because people are actually taking these people as journalists. They're not. Yeah.
You notice that as well. Like, I see people say things like, I've seen people brag about the fact that people have contacted them and said, you've changed me from like a staunch left-leaning feminist to a Trump supporter. I'm like, that's not good. Like, the fact that you can swap so quickly between polar opposite political points, political points of view, is not good. It doesn't reflect well on you. It says to me that you're easily manipulated.
That's exactly what that means. Because like if you're if you're staunch or if you're hardcore one way or the other, there should be nothing that should change your mind that easily. Like that's like kind of like the
Yeah,
whole point of being staunch. Yeah, that's.
And also, you know, if you're a skeptic, you need to actually be like consistent.
Yeah.
We've been noticing this now with this skeptic community on YouTube.
Oh yeah.
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah.
It's just it's gotten. I mean, it's not nothing like what it used to be, and it's gotten like it's getting to the point where it's like completely out of hand. Where I don't know what's going to take to because you got to like the president or the government has to tread carefully here because the First Amendment, and
yeah.
that's like a really touchy subject with that. So I don't know if there's a way to actually correct that. It's going to be one of the things that's I don't even.
I'm a very strong amendment supporter. I mean I don't think. I mean it's like I was having this conversation with one of the guys the other day. I said if you ban one word and you make a specialization for just one word, you might as well just ban the entire language because it all goes together. Like you can't just, you know, oh we can't say this, but we could say this. Like no, it's not going to work that way.
Well, I'm a big constitutionalist when it comes to like that. That's what I've always I take a very firm stance in that. Above all else, like when it comes to politics and I'm not really a big fan of limiting, like everybody's talking about no, you should never allow a person to have put their own personal politics into a game, and I'm like, you know, that's their right. I mean, it's your right, your fundamental right to not buy it. So I mean, that's
you're allowed to do it. It's just be nice if they didn't.
I mean, it would be it would be nice. I can see but I think there's a big difference between putting your political beliefs in there, because I mean, if you like with being like just you're gonna be able to tell the game is more of a liberal type thing or a conservative type coming from that angle, but whenever it comes to putting a political agenda in there, I think that's where I think that they definitely need to stray away from, because you're forcing that agenda upon everybody that's buying your game, and you know because you know they're going to buy it.
It alienates people as well, so it's just not smart business.
Yeah, I mean, I think like I said, I mean they have the right to, but I just think that's where I find that I draw a difference between political beliefs and political agendas.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, look at what's his face. He lost his AKA reporter cred, and he definitely became a pundit, right? Was it Cenk Uygur? I mean,
oh god,
that guy was doing good. No, seriously. I tell people this, they don't believe me.
Oh, he used to be.
At the very beginning,
he used to be right.
Yeah, at the very beginning, he was right, and he was good at it. But like, soon as Hillary Clinton even showed signs of having a chance in hell, like that's where like he changed. It was like he went from being this damn near, legitimate news site to like, oh, now he's a pundit. Like overnight, as soon as Hillary stepped in.
The Young Turks have always been pundits, though. That's the issue.
Have they really?
They really have. Well, yeah. I mean, they're a commentary channel. They don't break stories. They commentate on stories, but they used to be all right. At least Cenk did, but they've lost the plot now. They've gone well off the deep end.
Oh yeah, like their channel still hasn't recovered. Like there's still not a whole lot of people that watch them. Like you go to their channel now and it's like almost dead in the water.
Yeah, well they hired Talcum X, so
Talcum X. Who the hell's Talcum X?
Sean King.
Oh.
He thinks he's black, but he's like really white. He's live now, and I can see him in frame. Like
he's he's actually like literally white. His parents are white.
No, exactly. But he's literally white.
To sell the idea that he was black, he like sold his mom out. Like so basically said his mom was a whore. And so she had a black.
And then his dad is
a
biological father.
Yeah. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Yep.
Because he's so
That's
desperate
so
to be
wrong.
black.
Because
he's
needs to be like
he's exploiting
needs to be in medication.
Yeah, he's exploiting the being black to gain money and stuff like that to get rich, and it's working like to a T. But I don't know. I mean, he's been. it's been proven time and time again that he's white. I don't know why people still believe that he's
Because
black.
you can't. Because remember, like it's all social constructs. So even
Oh,
in
yeah.
the face of biology,
Yeah,
can't
it's-
tell me.
I love the whole social construct
and
thing.
if you live in Canada, you might go to jail for that. So yeah, oh Canada, our home and native land.
Oh God. The stupidity has gotten this bad, huh? Oh man.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's gotten. Yeah, it's bad whenever you can do that and get away with it, and people rejoice it. Like I just wow. If it, I mean, yeah, no, I mean, but what's funny is like the people like say blackface is like racist, which it is, but then that's okay. I'm like, that's like the ultimate blackface.
Yeah, exactly. It's like it really is.
Wow.
It blows my mind what people will accept just because it fits their agenda or mindset or whatever that they have. It blows my mind that they're willing to allow that because he tells them what they want to hear.
So he really just panders. That's all he does.
Yeah, definitely.
He's
That's
just
all he
a
does.
ginormous fucking dick sucker, and that's all he
Yep.
does. Okay. Well, that sounds about right. That's kind of ridiculous. I didn't know it was like that. Even as far as doing that to his own family, that's wow.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
the really sickening part.
Like I'm not very fond of my family either, but I wouldn't go that far.
I would never sell
Fucking
my
hell.
mom out like that. No. Not to make a buck, man. It's not worth it.
No.
No.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, we're coming up under the 2-hour mark, and
I
you
need
got
to go. I got work early.
okay. You gotta go to work. Do you have anything coming down your pipeline before you go? Do you have anything coming up in your video?
Oh boy. Yeah, I'm gonna do a response video, and I'm gonna do a thoughts regarding the Fallout series, probably.
Oh yay! It just reminded me of your last Fallout one that you did.
Yeah, but that'll be done whenever. It just depends on whenever I get around to it. But then, I think after these 2 videos, I'm gonna finally start the Patreon so I can get moved to part-time on my job because it's just sucking the energy out of me.
Yeah, yeah.
I just get
Right.
home and I'm tired, or I want to take a nap, or I just don't feel like it, and
Understandable.
I need to. I just need to get out of there.
Definitely, dude. That'd be good. What about
But
you?
now you have to worry about those accusations or something.
Yeah.
I saw someone say something along the lines of like, "You owe people money because you made videos on them."
Yeah,
Monetize. So it's like, what are they talking about?
because I don't make any money doing this at all. So it's about time I get something like that out of it.
Yeah.
Well, I will see you guys later.
Have a good night,
All right,
sir.
man.
Yeah. See you later, man.
Normally I would ask Rambo, but Fringy, what do you have coming up on your channel, sir?
Or I don't know yet. I'm probably taking a little bit of time after that debate. Like just do something else, play some video games. I'll probably get something down the pipeline. But I do have the podcasts that go up on my podcast channel, and that happens every week anyway. So
Oh yeah, what do you
What
do?
is
What do you do over there? I didn't know you had a podcast.
I didn't either.
Yeah,
That-
that's I made like a separate one that's part of the that whole Crude Penguin sort of thing, like where I do comics and stuff.
Okay.
So it's just like half an hour solo show where I just talk about topics. It's edited and stuff. It's not live, but generally reception has been pretty good, and I find it to be a bit therapeutic because it's a little bit more relaxed and mellow. So
Yeah.
that happens every week. So whether or not people are, oh, where are the videos? There's always something.
That's cool. I didn't even know you did that, man. That's great.
Is it
Yeah.
what channel is it? What's the channel name?
It's on a separate channel. It's called the Cynical Dem Podcast. There's links in the descriptions of my videos, but
Okay.
I know that people don't look at those.
Oh well, no, I'll go now that
Yeah.
you said that, I'll go check it out because I never knew that you were doing that. So
Yeah. But other than that, I don't really have anything in the pipeline. I got a few scripts that I'm debating about, but I'm deciding. There's one person in particular I'd like to respond to just because they're so consistently wrong, but it's difficult to decide just what video to address. But I've got a few scripts in the works, just nothing solid yet. But yeah, thanks for having me, by the way. I had a fun, good time.
Yeah,
thanks for
man,
coming.
Definitely, yeah. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, it was.
I know we tried to get you on before, and I know you had a lot of things going on, so that's why I never pushed it.
Well, yeah, issue is time zones, and it gets complicated. And with the internet today, it's finally working now. When it's handed.
Well, either way, it was good having you on, Fringy. You should come on more
Definitely.
often, and man, always good catching up with
absolutely.
you, sir.
Yeah, likewise.
Rambo, what do you got coming down your pipeline? Anything?
Well, I've been trying to work on getting some stuff together to try to. I know everybody's kind of taking their shot at him, but I figured maybe it's been a lot of PC gamers going after NoobTube.
Yeah.
So I thought maybe, a console gamer actually like pointing out his flaws in the one of his videos that he did after the Fringy debate. To maybe prove him some wrong, and that maybe that might actually like do something. I don't know, but I want to respond to that because like he said some like just completely absurd things that if he actually believed what he was saying, then like with the information that I actually have can prove that he would actually hate console gaming. So it's kind of I want to kind of paint him into a corner. I've asked him for a debate, but he never responded. So I figured that maybe if I did a video, then maybe he'll take the hint.
Sounds about right. Sounds good.
Right.
For me, I got a review coming up for Titanfall 2. I beat it over this weekend. Thanks to Rags, he hooked it up with that key. I really appreciate that. And I hope you guys that are in the comments right now watching this, I hope you guys enjoy the review. I know a lot of people loved my Soma review. So be prepared for a Titanfall 2 review. I really like the game. I don't want to ruin too much about the review of what you guys are going to expect. But I will say this, Titanfall, I think me and Fringy are on the same page on this one. I will praise Titanfall from here to the Kingdom Come. It's a really good series of games. Both of them are really good. I really hate the fact that so many people shit on Titanfall 1 and 2 both before they even came out, which I thought was wrong. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoy it, and we're going to go ahead and end the podcast with the fact that Rambo, for some reason or another, can't wait to buy 3 new Switches on top of another 2 PS4s.
Okay, yeah.
What? That's what you said in the chat, right?
Yeah. No.
God damn it!